All right, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of No Bull with Noble. This is episode 9. If you're watching on YouTube, you can probably see that I do have a cast on my wrist. I don't want to really get into the story too much, but I was snowboarding and I went off a jump. And just know that, just be safe. Okay, don't be an idiot like me. That's it. But today, anyway, we have John Corbin on the episode or on the podcast today. John, welcome. John does he does a lot of media stuff. He's got his own media company, and we're sort of going to dive into that and speak about that. So welcome.
But why don't you talk a little bit about how we know each other first, just in case we get a little sarcastic or whatever. There's a base. There's a foundation here. I think, right?
That's true. Yeah,
we can stuff.
We can go back to the beginning. So both of us went to the same summer camp, and I was a young, wee little lad. Yeah. And I'm going to call him Corbin because that's, everyone calls him Corbin. But Corbin, was doing videos and was making all this silly content at camp. And I guess that's where your base started. And then he eventually emceed for my bar mitzvah. And the rest is kind of history.
It was a good party. I remember. It was a great party. It was a match. Your mom was thrilled as well. She was having the best time. And that's what's important, right? The bar mitzvah boy and the family need to have a good time. And I remember it was just like it was a banger. There's a few that always stand out in your memory because I've done hundreds literally. But I remember yours was a jam.
And funny enough, I've only broken my wrist twice in my life.
Oh, yeah.
And both times were snowboarding. And it was a month I got my cast off. I think a week before my bar mitzvah.
I remember
and it was around the same time of year this year because I was skiing. So
yeah. Whitney was mortified. She's like, of course it happens right before his bar mitzvah.
And every time I go after that, she gets she gets upset. She doesn't want me to go. And then stuff like this happens, and whatever. I'm okay. At least it's just my wrist.
Yes. Good. Well, I hope you feel better.
Yeah. No, I'm fine. I'm just upset, like more frustrated than hurt.
Yeah, there's a lot of things you can't do with the right hand.
Yeah, I'm lefty though, so I'm left dominant. Okay. Yeah, so
got it. Well,
it's all good. We don't have to worry about any of that stuff.
All right. Well, let's
back on track. So you started filming videos at camp, and that was where you found your love for videography.
Yeah. It was at a time where making videos weren't really cool yet. Like it wasn't a thing that a lot of people did. And I found that it gave me an opportunity and an audience to express myself, to be it, to inspire, usually to just entertain. I think that was my thing. I liked making people laugh. And, so few people made videos that when I discovered that I could do it with a camera and I could do new and fun and innovative things, and then make presentations for large groups of people, they loved it. And their kind of reaction and encouragement is what kind of inspired me to just, okay, what's the next video? Another video. And then over time, I think it became something that people looked forward to. And that's, you love to know that, as a video guy, like you love to know that the videos that you make,
they're good.
Yeah, they're good, and
people enjoy them.
And people enjoy them. I think that's a big part of how you stay motivated, is to know that you're making a difference in some way, shape, or form.
And especially at somewhere like camp, where you have that creative freedom, and you don't really have to worry about being judged by a corporate company or. I don't want to say parents, because, you did. I remember you did music videos and things like that for the camp, but having those, being able to put out those videos and having people not really judge you for them, where you can sort of get your base and understand what people like, what people don't like, because as long as you put the content out there, people don't really care.
Yeah. Videos back then were, the idea of videos and video presentations are not as, it looked very different back then. And I think one thing that I did very early on that I kind of still stick to today, but something that was like part of my core, was I just made what I thought was funny. I made what I liked, and sometimes it was really well received. Sometimes it was a total flop, but because I didn't maybe execute the joke the right way. But it was always about what I thought was funny. And you hear that parroted these days, in terms of creating content or, searching for a job or whatever. Like, do what you love, like find what inspires you, find what makes you happy. Just do what you like, and there will be an audience for that. And I did that very early on. I was like, yo, I'm going to make people laugh. I'm going to push the envelope, maybe do some inappropriate things. But at the end of the day, I'm just going to be true to myself and the way in which I see the world. And that was really the basis for starting to create content and entertain and such.
Do you find that today, now the content that you're putting out, you can put your own spin, your own little flair on, or is it more catered towards whoever your client is?
So when you're doing client work, I think there's an agenda, like there's business objectives and there's brand and style guidelines. And, you do need to conform in many ways to what the brand wants, what the message is. There'll be a sandbox. I can build a sandcastle in the sandbox, but, we're going to be confined to building in a certain space. Oftentimes they hire you because of one or two things that you do exceptionally well. And so they don't always know what to ask for, but they know what they like when they see it. And that's where your kind of unique perspective on content comes in. But the other half to the work we do is all just organic. Like, it's not attached to a client. It's just content marketing. It's creating content to educate, entertain, or inspire. And we don't have rules. We don't have clients. So we can just do what we want that honors the company's brand. A lot of me is in the company. Like, the company's brand is certainly in large part a reflection of how I see the world, but it's also shaped by the folks that I work with. And so we all kind of work together to make a piece of content that we're proud of. And oftentimes, like, that organic stuff, the stuff you do for yourself, goes a lot farther for your reputation and personal brand than something you do for a client. And that's just, a couple pillars of how we stay busy and how we find new clients,
Yeah, because especially with starting your own company, you can build the environment around you. And I feel like that's very similar with, I guess, real estate as well, right? You start off by yourself, you build your own business. Once you have enough business, you can build that environment of people around you to help you out, like a social media marketer, even other realtors to build your team. And it's all branched off of you, right? Or me, for example, right? So I think it's good that you've started out as yourself. You've built yourself as a company, and then now you've built the people around you so that they all reflect off of your creative ideas, essentially.
When it's just you can do whatever you want. But the hardest part about building a company is the people. People they're not there to like fall in line. Yes, sir. Whatever. Like, they're there to bring parts of themselves to the work as well. And you have to really find the balance between, okay, how can I state my brand values, my style of comedy, like the thing that allowed us to start up in the first place? Like, how can I give that to them in a way where they can put it through their filter, but they're going to bring a little bit of them to the job as well. So yes, on one hand, I want to let them know why we're successful and what we need to continue to do well. But you also got to give these people room, right? You got to give them room to be themselves, because if they feel like they're stuck or they're in a box or whatever, like, they might not be happy, and hiring, like, the people aspect of building a company is by far the hardest part, like harder than the product, harder than the marketing. It's the people. How can you rally people and inspire people around a common goal? Like, that's incredibly challenging.
Yeah, I'm sure finding that right person is tough, because you can have 10 people apply for one position, and 9 out of 10 of them are good for the job. 10 out of 10 of them might be perfect for the job, but it's narrowing down who you see fit, where they have their own creative style, but you can see them blend into yours as well, even if it's just a little bit, but being able to let them have their creative freedom while still following along to your guidelines and seeing how much value that they can bring to the company is probably insanely difficult.
Yeah. I mean, I think ultimately, like, everyone wants to be part of something. That everyone wants to be part of something. They want to be part of a movement. They want to be part of an idea. They want to be part of a company. And so that might get them in the door, like you might be able to build your team via like opportunity. Hey, here's an opportunity. Do you want this opportunity? Yes. Okay, great. Come work with me. But after a while, like once the novelty of a new opportunity fades, you really need to start, building the culture, be it of like whatever it is you build your company around, like you need to respect everyone's unique worldview, because that combination of letting people be themselves, but also like mixing that with the company's values and their mission and what they're trying to accomplish, like that intersection, that's where the magic happens, and I'm not in control of that. All I can do is help, but at a certain point, it's like, you got to hire the right people and kind of get out of their way to a certain extent.
Yeah. So when you started, obviously you started by yourself. At what point did you realize that, hey, maybe I would need some help? Obviously, you're making enough money, or you have enough work to get through that you're going to need someone to assist you. But was it more you needed someone to help you out because you were stuck on ideas, or was it more you needed help because the content that you were putting out was too much that you needed some help with creative direction?
Mm-hmm. The first hire that I made was an editor, and that was just, there's such a large volume of content. When I started, I was doing long form, be it camp videos or event videos. It's like, these are 60 and back in the day, 60, 90-minute videos that were just like so much freaking content. So part of it was time. Part of it was just, there's not enough hours in the day to be able to like get the work done and take the phone calls and stuff like that. But another part of it was like realizing that I'm actually not the best at it. When you start up, you're like super hungry, and you got your ego, like in a positive way, like your ego helps motivate you to just like get shit done and make cool things. And as a creative person, at least, and you think, well, nobody's going to be able to do it as well as me. Like, I need to do everything because nobody's going to do it to my standards.
It's your own creative style too, right? Like totally. You have a vision for what you want, mm-hmm. and as soon as you get someone else to do it, sometimes it's not there.
Until you realize that they are talented and all they need is a bit of guidance. And like the moment one of my first editors, I saw him do something where it was like, I would not have been able to ask for that, but dude, like that's sick. I realized, I'm like, you're not the best. Like you're fine, you're good enough, but other people are capable, and you slowly need to be able to let go. And that's where hiring comes in. Like, you got to be able to trust that people are going to make good decisions. And that doesn't mean there can't be feedback. Doesn't mean that you can't disagree about something. But the moment you realize that like, there are other people who are either equally as good as you or better than you at a particular skill, that's what allowed me to start trusting, so that was my first hire. I needed more time in the day. I didn't have a lot of money, but I found someone who I got along with, and I have a great deal of respect for him to this day. He really helped me get my business off the ground.
That's great. And that's always good to see, is finding someone that you can maintain a good relationship with, and they help you and you help them, I'm sure, with their, with whatever they wanted to do.
Yeah. It's really hard to maintain perspective as a boss or as a leader. Like your employees are rarely going to be completely honest with you, because at the end of the day, whereas it might feel like a friendship, like it's a business relationship, they're there to do a job and get paid. And so, to be able to break down that barrier from kind of like boss to employee, it's like you can try as a boss, but ultimately you're never going to get that person's out of work, like off work time self. So it's just about finding a way to come together during the days, get along, make cool shit. And then being okay with the fact that they're not, they have their own life too. And that's cool. Like, I think people need to bring their best selves to work, and that requires balance.
I think it's even harder as someone in the creative industry, because for you, you can go to like a big business company, and the person who hires and the managers and all that, they're all super serious. But with your kind of business, with our kind of business, sometimes it's in the creative industry, it's more relaxed and loose, where you have that sort of buddy friendship. But like you said, at the end of the day, you need to understand the line between being a business and being a friendship, because they can be as honest as they want with you, but there might be that point where you think in your head, like I do this all the time, I think in my head that I'm buddy with somebody, and that, as soon as I meet someone, even if it's a new client, that we're best friends, but they might not have the same mentality coming back towards me.
Yeah, people are tough, man. People are difficult. Like relationships are very difficult to navigate, and you can think someone's your best friend 1 second, but you know, when the dust settles, it was clear that they just had, not that you weren't friends and you weren't buddy, but their motives were different than you thought. And that's okay, because like life is messy, business is messy, creative or not, like shit's messy, you know? Yeah. And I think as long as you're okay with that, you're not trying to fix everyone. You got to get uncomfortable. You got to get comfortable in the idea that life is uncomfortable and life is messy. And when you can come to grips with that, like then you can start to make progress, you know, together or individually.
Yeah. Okay. So when you started your business, what do you think was the hardest part about taking that leap, taking that step? Because, you know, everyone can start by themselves, right? You love doing videos, and you started doing videos. You started, you know, like we mentioned at camp, you were making videos, you were doing well, but sometimes, you know, the hobby might not be the career. So when you started doing it as a career, what did you find was the hardest part about taking that step and trusting yourself in your own process?
I think I have the answer to that. Or at least I have perspective on that, which is like, I'm going to try to answer it in a different way, which was like, everyone can get to that first plateau of success in a variety of different ways. You know, you really just need you need ambition, you need passion, like you need a skill, obviously. And everyone can use a different superpower that they have in order to reach that first plateau of success. We're like, okay, some people are calling you, some people are paying you, these people are happy, maybe you're getting some referrals. You know, that level one of business is, you can feel like you've got it figured out once people are starting to call you for work. You're like, all right, I'll just keep on doing what I'm doing. And you look around at other people and they might be an asshole in real life, or they might have some things that things are not so good at, or some qualities. And you're like, how did this person get to where they are? Like they're a jerk, or they're not even that good. But the point is, like, everyone gets to that first plateau a different way. And what was really challenging for me when I wanted to take it from hobby to career was like creating systems, and starting up is easy, relatively speaking. Scaling up is incredibly difficult. Creating scale requires systems and repeatable processes, and you know, it's just a different part of your brain. And as a creative person who found that first level of success by just being creative and passionate and ambitious and all those things, realizing that I needed to tap into a different part of my brain to achieve that second level of scale, that was like, didn't really jive with me as a creative guy, because it's messy in my head and I just want to like make cool shit. But like, to create proposals, you know, and send emails and, you know, just do things to kind of that conformed to the way business works. That was really challenging for me, because I thought I could just charm and create my way to success. And yes, to level one, sure. But beyond that, you need to start you need to start dancing the dance. You need to start playing the game. And as a creative soul, it hurt me a little bit to know that I have to conform to the way other people are, because I thought my gift to the world was my own unique self and worldview. But to have to realize that I have to play someone else's game as well, that's where the real challenge and growth had to come for me as an individual.
Yeah, because I wouldn't say play someone else's game. I feel like, you know, yes, you need to conform to the norm, but I think it's more just adding a layer onto your own creative process, right? Like you had a point where you had your business, right? And like it was good, right? You're making content and you hit what you thought was your, not a peak, but you had the right formula. But then as soon as you start learning and adding these other layers to it, I feel like that's a better way to explain the fact that, you know, that's what's going to take you to the next level. Rather than, you know.
You're always building. But, you know, for me, my growth path was a little bit different. That, okay, I made camp videos and then they didn't pay me enough, or I didn't have enough clients. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to now do like event videos, weddings and bar mitzvahs. And so I was like, to keep myself busier. And then I got to a certain point where that work just didn't inspire me anymore. It didn't make me happy. listen, I love the clientele as people, but I didn't like the process of making wedding videos, which it's the same video every time, like literally every time. It's unique to your client, but it's not unique to you, and it can become a little monotonous. So what I started to do is I just started to chop legs off my business. I'm like, all right, no more camp videos. All right, no more wedding and bar mitzvah videos, no more private event videos. And then I kept on leveling up the work, and then okay, small business videos, okay, medium-sized business videos, okay, enterprise videos, okay, commercials. And I'm very much of the mind that there's only so many hours in a day, and there's only so much layering you can do. Like once you have 10 layers, well, that's your entire workday. So while the thing that I think is layering are my business skills, like my soft skills, but in terms of the actual work I'm doing and the clients that I'm serving, that was very much like a rip the Band-Aid off. I'm not doing that anymore. I want bigger challenges, and the dance we're talking about, having to dance other people, play other people's games, was more kind of like learning how new industries work and what's required to communicate at their level to unlock like opportunities in businesses, in sales. So that's kind of what I mean. But I take your point. Like it's all growth oriented. Like you're always stacking things and learning new things. But sales is selling to a whole new group of clients is different, man. It's tough. It's tough.
Yeah. So do you feel like you adapted very well to changing? I guess changing would be the word, but finding more happiness in moving towards something that you felt would propel your business in a better direction?
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, I like challenges, and I like creative challenges. So when I could solve bigger problems with my work, it was more fulfilling because I knew that the fruits of my labor were the outcome affected more people. And that's what I aim to do with creating content, is just to create as much positive change as possible. And, I think when you're making in that early stages, when I was doing private event videos and small business videos, I lost sight of my potential because you're scrambling, trying to like just service a group of clients. And I realized that making event videos that were very formulaic, it was like a little bit, it hurt my creative soul a little bit because I wasn't able to express myself. Like I remember a particular phone call where my client, who's actually a buddy of mine, called me and was like, my wife is really angry. I made them a beautiful wedding video, like beautiful. And I'm like, what did I do? Like, I actually thought it was a really good video. And she's like, her mom wants to know why you featured my side of the family more than her side of the family. And I'm like, I don't know any of the fucking guests. I don't know who these people are. I'm just making you a video. And it was like, in my mind, I was like, these are the clients. Yeah. These are the things that I'm going to be dealing with if I continue to try and service private event clients versus it's like an audience of 2, maybe 4 if you count the grandparents, right? And so I realized like these aren't the people that I want to be working with because they're just stunting they're stunting my creativity, right? They're stunting what I believe my gift to the world is. And so that's kind of what those small happenings were a bunch of them together, kind of what motivated me to challenge myself to solve bigger problems. That
makes sense. Like I have the same situation where I was in graphic design before. I was doing design and, I was doing some freelancing, but a lot of the times it was for clients. And I found that all the time. So many situations where I'd make a logo for somebody and, they'd give me exactly what they want. And usually I'd start off with 20-ish sketches of different ideas, different logos that I have. Would sketch those out. I do 19 of all these good different ideas, for example, and one that was exactly what they were looking for, but I hated it just to see. And the amount of times where they picked that one was way too many. Where, and I found a point where they chose it. They said, this is the one, I really like this one. And I wouldn't put it at the end. I'd throw it somewhere in the middle and they'd choose it. And I would, I'd say, okay, I like this, but why don't we move into this direction, or we can blend this one with the other. And there were so many times where they just be like, nope, this is the one that I like. And obviously I would have to respect their their decisions, because ultimately
paid.
they're the client.
Yeah.
I need to do exactly what they want to do. But it happens so many times where that's where I felt like I lost my creative freedom, because I did everything that I could where I could bring out my creative side and bring their vision to life. But then it kept going back to whatever they, the exact thing that took me 2 minutes to sketch up that they liked,
But I believe the world has changed since you were dealing with clients like that, because if you look at social and content on social, it's like that's literally the entire creator economy, right? I don't want to get a job. I don't want to do what you tell me to do. I'm going to package my own worldview, skills, photography skills, video skills, like whatever it is, and I'm going to put it online, and I'm going to go find my tribe who like exactly what I do. And I think that I completely agree with you. Like sometimes I make edits, options, and I'm like, please don't pick this one. Please don't pick. Then they pick this one just because, I'm just trying to cover my bases. But I think what social has done these days is it's unlocked people's potential to be truer to themselves, like to really put their authentic self out there and have people appreciate them for like what they think is the best. And so I identify with those challenges for sure, but I think creative work, especially the creator economy, has just turned those problems that you've had kind of upside down and given people options, right? Yeah. You don't have to go that route anymore.
Yeah, because I think there are different eras, right? You can go back to like the 1900s or whatever, where someone like Picasso, for example, you look at a Picasso painting and say that's Picasso, and you would want to buy it because you could tell the artistic thoughts of who he was. Actually, I don't think he was
drunk,
that
dude.
old.
Like that stuff's not even that cool. Like you look at it now, it's like that is what was the pinnacle of creativity.
Right.
Like I don't know, bro. Like I don't know if he'd go viral today.
I don't think so either. But people appreciate it because of what he did so many years ago. And then so there was that era of like the painting era of
sure.
Even like Andy Warhol. You can see something like Andy Warhol that he puts out and you're like, oh, like that's an Andy Warhol painting. That's an Andy Warhol
style. Totally.
And then that sort of faded away where it got more corporate. Where people expected exactly what they wanted. And then now, like you said, I feel like we've shifted into this. People are posting on social media more of their own content, of their own style, and their work, like the stuff that they've done is what's brought people to them instead of, like they take their own creative style. This is what I like to see from you.
Yeah.
Just make me something.
I think, obviously, just to speak to your kind of like career trajectory in terms of going through real estate now, is like, I'm sorry to say, but I think real estate agents are some of the worst marketers out there, because they refuse to put themselves out there, right? Like they look at all these real estate shows and they're like, they're enamored by them and they like the glitz and the glam and the brand, and they focus on how great their photos look and the value of the home that they're representing. Like all these things matter, but most real estate agents, I find, are unwilling to put themselves out there. They're obsessed with optics, the optics of success, as opposed to doing what you're doing here, which is getting down and dirty, rolling your sleeves up, putting your personality out to the world. I know this isn't like exclusively a real estate podcast, but you're doing the dirty work that most agents will be out of a job in 10 years, 5 years, 2 years if they don't conform, especially with rising interest rates, and it's not a bull market anymore. No. But you represent the future of, I believe, what real estate marketing is just putting your own unique personality out to the world, not being completely obsessed with here's my listing, but just trying to add value, dripping value to people so that they get to know you and that they get to trust you. And drone shots and high-end photography only does so much for building trust. And I think like it baffles me how behind the times real estate agents and brokerages are in terms of how they market their people, not their properties. They can take beautiful photos, right? Like they can make the property look good, but they don't know how to build brands for their agents. And they just, they're going to get left behind, I think. And you see a lot of real estate tech, you see
You see it,
competition
yeah.
nipping at the heels, and if they don't take a hard look in the mirror, the brokerages that exist today, I can't see them existing in a few years from now.
Yeah, because photos and videos go so far, but it's more how you can adjust those photos and videos. How can you make it unique? How can you get yourself out there? Because if I'm just posting videos of houses all day, you don't see me. You don't see who I am as a person. Mm-hmm. But you can see the houses. And I feel like the only time that this works is if you're a huge agent who's posting multi-million dollar properties, because everyone loves to look at like a 5, 10, $20 million property. Mm-hmm. People don't necessarily care too much about a $1 million property or a $600,000 property. Mm-hmm. So being able to get out there and put my face out there, I feel like is what's good. And I've learned that from doing, like we spoke about before, the marketing and the freelancing and all that stuff that I did, because I was always behind the camera before. I was making my stuff and putting myself out there, but people can understand you better if they know your personality. Mm-hmm. And that's the same with your business too. That's where we have the similarities, because the stuff that you can put out for content, right? You put your face out there. You're the man of the business, but a lot of these companies are just posting their own kind of videos. But to see you as a genuine person and who you are, and your sort of style and the way that you carry yourself is also very important for your brand as well. So I think that's where the whole real estate market, or the way that real estate agents are treating or are treated, makes such a huge difference, because those people who aren't putting videos out there, the people who aren't posting and aren't conforming to social media and getting themselves out there is huge, because they're not going to succeed if they don't.
Real estate agents are obsessed with themselves. Like they think that they more want to hear their own voice. And I say this like objectively, not to hate, because I certainly have a decent track record of trading content about real estate. Yeah. It's like, focus on your customer. You know what I mean? Like, what is important to your customer? It's the same thing in my business. It's like getting into the head of truly what is important to me as a customer. And yes, when you get a listing, you get to know somebody and you can develop a relationship with them. But like, yeah, if you want to deal with like single families or people who are newly married, just had kids, maybe going into retirement, like, you can't put out the same piece of content and assume that is going to reach a broad audience. Like the real estate agents who just pay these marketing companies to give them these monthly market trend images, and they're paying them thousands of dollars a month, flushing it down the toilet, because everyone's content looks the exact same. But it's like, if you can niche down, like in content, and just start to speak directly to your target audience in ways that add value to their life, about, hey, what's it like looking for a house with kids? I might be a painfully obvious question to ask that you think doesn't need to be addressed, but buying a home, it's an emotional experience, not just the cost and figuring out the affordability, but being able to attend the listings. Like, there's so many nuggets and opportunities in the home buying experience for realtors to explore, but their main concern is to put their face on a billboard and make a high-end looking montage with a couple drone shots. It's like, it's a definition of insanity, doing the exact same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And, you need to, I think you got to look yourself in the mirror if you're still trying to find success with old tricks.
Yeah, because I feel like the hardest thing too, for me especially, is to understand that most people don't know about the business, right? Small things that I might know, a lot of people don't know. A lot of people in my network don't know, right? Like for you could say something about looking for a family house. Yeah, like you don't want to be living, in a specific type of house, for example. I was doing a buyer visit a couple of weeks ago for somebody, and they were debating, because it was a 3-story house, and the top story was like a primary bedroom, and there was another primary bedroom on the second floor, and they wanted to live on the top floor, but they had the idea that maybe in a couple of years we're going to be having kids. And if you're going to have kids, you can't be living on that top floor, because you're going to have to be walking up and down the stairs all the time to deal with those kids. So, small things like that, like a lot of people don't think about.
That's a piece of content right there. Just make a piece of content about that exact problem, and that will connect with somebody who is thinking about starting a family. And that piece of content will do a better job of activating your target audience's ears and eyes and heart than just posting a photo and telling me how many bedrooms and baths are in it, right? Like it makes sense to me, but it's still either there's something that I don't know, which I'm totally willing to accept.
No.
Or people are just they need to kind of dust off their boots a little bit,
But that's the thing, because you're a creative, you can think about these things.
Yeah.
Right? People who are in real estate, they're not necessarily creative people. So they don't see the value in that. They don't understand that that's something that's of importance to them. Right? I have so many friends who have listened to the podcast and they've learned something, at least one thing from every podcast. And these are things that we're just normally chatting about, right? This whole conversation we're having right now, there could be at least 1, 2, 5 things that someone might learn, but to us, it's just natural that we're talking about it.
People are wired very differently. And I don't, it's just like that variety is a spice of life, but I think, truly sitting down and asking what's important to your customer in any business and finding out why they're buying from you or what makes them upset on a day-to-day basis, like understand your customer. And I think that asking those questions is the key to success. I've been in business for like a decade, a little over a decade at this point, and I still sometimes forget to ask my clients, not to go on camera and say, why do you like me? Which I do need to do as well. But it's like, what was it about this experience which was good or bad? What was important to you? And was I able to deliver on what was important to you from the onset? And it's like, you constantly have to be speaking to your clients about what matters to them. And when you understand that, you can then translate those answers into a strategy to sell to new people, B, content, and marketing assets for yourself, and really just, not that this was an ABC list, but if I'm thinking about a third thing, it's like, oh yeah, like level up. This is not about you, John, Corbin. This is not about you. This is about your customer. And so to never get lost in your own success or your own vision, and remember, you're always, whatever you are doing is in service of the person who is paying you. And yeah, you'll put your own unique flair in it, but like, you're not the main character. You know what I mean? Your customer is, and you got to remember that.
Yeah, no, that's smart. That's really good. Anyway, we're very close to the end of the podcast. No, this was great conversation, but I guess I'll leave you with 2 more questions. Number 1, I want to hear one of the funniest stories that you have from making videos, or one that might be memorable.
Okay, do you want a story where something fucked up that happened and how I solved it, or do you want a story about how I made a decision in the spur of the moment and it led to a great deal of success?
Let's do that one. We'll do the second one. Yeah.
All right. So this was a little earlier on in my career when I was doing like small corporate videos and still some wedding videos, and I was becoming really disenchanted and just unhappy with my clients. I just didn't like the work. I didn't like the clientele, and I didn't like how much money I was making working that hard. And I had these like 4 or 5 big proposals out to these companies. And I'm like, and there's a lot of money, a couple $100,000, and at the time in my early 20s, I'm like, oh shit, like I'll be set if I just nail one of these. And anyways, it was a Thursday, I remember, and I heard back from all of them on the same day. I don't know, some lucky happenstance. And I didn't get them any of them. I didn't get any of them. Lost them all. I was so dejected. I was like, I'm working my ass off, and I spent a week on these proposals, and I sent them all out, and I got none of them. And they wouldn't even respond to my calls about why I didn't get it or any of that stuff. And I was so dejected. And the next morning was Friday. I was like, fuck it. I'm not going into work. I'm not going into work to work for these people and to try to get money if they don't even respect the time that I put in, whatever. So I had a drone in a box. I was like, fuck it. I'm taking the drone out of the box, and I'm going to go fly my drone. I'm just going to go release my stress by just going and make cool shit. I'd never flown a drone in my life.
Is this when you did at the Scarborough Bluffs?
Yes.
I remember.
So then I took my drone to the Scarborough Bluffs. I sent it off and to just figure out what the hell this drone could do. And I brought it back and I looked at the footage and I was like, holy shit. I had never seen something like this before. I made the video really quickly. I submitted it to BlogTO. Within an hour, they had an article about me in my video. That night, I was on CTV National News, CBC National News as man buys weird flying camera and does cool shit. I actually was on the lead story of the 6 o'clock news on both stations, CTV and CBC. I didn't tell them. Obviously, I wanted to be on both, so I did them. So there's lots of little nooks and crannies of that story, which I get excited when I talk about. But the point is like I stopped pandering to what my clients wanted and their vision, and I just did something that I thought was cool. And I am still benefiting from that, my own vision of what was cool. And like that was the first time in my career I was like, oh shit, like I can get attention and find work by doing what I think is important and not doing what my clients think is important. And that, I swear to you, was a fork in the road of my creative career when I'm like, I'm going to start doing me a lot more often. And that, the rest is history, but that was a moment that I still hold holds a really important place in my heart in terms of what I have decided to do for a living.
Yeah, that's a really good sort of way to explain that, you can be creative. Go back and, I spoke about this last week on the podcast, but just go back to your roots. Go back to what you think is good and is cool. Understanding what's cool. And, you don't always have to conform to these corporate ideas, because as soon as you go off and you do something that's unique, that's your own little style, that's what's going to help propel your career. So
if you think something is cool, there is no less than 1 million other people, probably in your city or at least in the world, that think it's cool too. And I think people can get down on themselves because they don't think they have a lot of value to add to the world, or this idea isn't funny or isn't cool or people won't like it. If you think something is cool, there's 1 million other people who think it's cool. And if you don't put that idea on camera, on paper, on your sketch pad or whatever, then you'll never know. You'll never find your tribe.
You need to try. That's the only thing. You won't succeed unless you just do it.
100%.
So anyway, thanks, Corbin. This is a great conversation. Where can people find you online?
Well, all our socials. It's usually Corbin Visual on LinkedIn and Instagram and TikTok, and at our corbinvisual.com is a website, and we post a bunch of our client work and just kind of silly work there. So that's where you can learn a little more.
We're gonna link it in the description.
Okay, so cool.
We'll be able to find it.
I want to ask you one question before we wrap up, which is, you and Max have decided to got this project that's been going now for a month or two, and seems to be gaining traction and seems like you guys are enjoying it. And so my question is, what is it that you've learned in a lesson or a takeaway that you've learned from all the conversations you had with people across different industries, and in addition, the process of like putting yourself out there, that you think it's important for other people to know, like generally speaking, but also for other real estate agents to know? Because ultimately, I think that's what you're trying to do here, is build your brand, right?
Yeah,
in order
exactly.
to build your career. So what is it that other agents need to know about what you've learned in this short while you've been doing this?
Again, like we just said, go back to Nike, just do it. Why would you not do something like this, right? If you're an agent and you want to put yourself out there, you can buy as many billboards as you want. That's money that's going out there. For this, we're just going and I'm having a conversation. I'm meeting new people. I'm speaking to new people, and people that I know, people that I don't know, but having the conversation, it's more comfort of other people are willing to come on and talk about their own experiences, and me learning about other people's experiences has benefit my own, because it gives me motivation to go out and do this stuff myself. Because like you said, there's so many agents that aren't putting themselves out there. This could be real estate. This could be, again, making videos, doing photography, doing anything creative. People are just behind the camera and they don't want to do it. They have this, I guess, creative, part about them, or they can go and they can do these things, and a lot of people aren't. So my goal here is to help motivate people to go out and do their own thing and understand that it takes 5 minutes to go make a video and put it out there. You know, I mean, this is half an hour of us, you know, half an hour, 45 minutes of us talking. But even if you do a 1 minute video, it takes you 5 minutes. Put your face out there. Yeah. No one cares what you look like. No one cares.
Nobody thinks more about you than yourself.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You gotta other people to care about you.
Exactly. And the person who's judging you the most is yourself, right? There are people, you know, who have come to me and say, oh, you know, like, I don't really want to post videos. I don't look that good in my videos. I don't like what I sound like. Do you think I like the sound of my voice? No. My voice is so nasally. I hate the way that my voice sounds, but I'm putting it out there. Do you think other people are thinking about, oh man, I just hate the way that the tone of his voice, the way they talk? No, people don't care.
They don't care. They literally don't care.
And on something like Instagram or TikTok, for example, you look at a story of me talking and you just go to the next person. You look at a video of me, you go to the next person. No one's going to judge you but yourself. So I think, you know, going back to your question, the thing that I've learned the most, or the thing that I'm trying to get out there, is that just put yourself out there, because no one cares. Yeah. If people like your content, that's going to fuel the fire. You know, no one's coming to me saying, oh, I hated this episode. I don't like this person. I don't like, and even if you did, that's fine. I don't care, right? Yeah. I'm doing me, and if you don't like the way I'm doing things, fine, you can go find somebody else. But if you do like what I'm doing, then, you know, let me know. Tell me. Talk to me about it. Yeah. Because that's what's going to help me.
Totally. Yeah, I think 2023 needs to be the year where people, friends, colleagues, they need to come out of the shadows, and they need to reward the efforts that their friends are making, you know? And I think for you in this case, it's like, if you're a friend of Ryan's, just comment on the video and tell them you learned something. Like, yeah, it's very easy to swipe to the next video or to like not care, but like when people are creating content, they're doing it to add value to your life. And if he has added value to your life in one small way, then reward him with a comment. Like a like, yeah, but also a comment, because comments matter more, right? Yeah. And so I just think that my hope for 2023 is that people will like believe in themselves, to put themselves out there a little bit more, to kind of behave like a media company. Everyone needs to be a media company in 2023 and beyond, people and brands. And then for the people who are doing it, whether you choose to do it or not, give them that encouragement, because it is incredibly difficult to put yourself out there on a continuous basis, receive judgment from others and yourself. And even that small little comment that's like, hey, you, like, keep on going, like, love your stuff. Even if you don't, just say you love it, because it's not inauthentic. It's supportive. And I think that's super important as people venture out into new things like this and putting themselves on camera on the internet for the first time. I think people need to come out of the shadows and stop judging and just be more supportive, because like love wins and support wins at the end of the day. And this whole like business of just like the judgment and the negativity, like that's just got to stop. So that's my hope for you and for people in general going into a new year.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And yeah, it all comes down to respect, right? Just respect each other, and yeah, like you said, just be positive.
And comment on the video.
Comment on the video. Comment on the video. If you're on Spotify, you can give us a like, rate us 5 stars. Yeah, I don't even talk about that much, you know, because I feel like I should, but to me, it's, you know, if people are enjoying it, people are enjoying it. Right?
Yeah. Don't, there's only so much you can do. Just get the content out there, you know, like be consistent, and you know, it'll take it where it's supposed to go. The internet will. Calling it the internet, it feels a little boomerish, you know. But like, you know, social media will take it where it's supposed to go. But no, thank you for having me. It was fun, and I wish you nothing but success.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, I guess we'll see everybody next week, and thanks, Corbin, for coming on. Actually, I really appreciate it. It was great.
Let me pound it. All right. Oh no, I was going.
Okay. All right. Thanks, everyone.
No problem.